Harold B. Lee once said, "If you knew what I knew, you would pile food up in the middle of the floor, throw a cloth over it, and walk around it." Prophets and apostles and even others have been telling us for decades that we need to prepare, both temporally and spiritually. Today I'm going to talk about 3 things and 3 reasons why we should temporarily prepare for what is to come. First, that you should prepare for the unknown because you never know when it's going to happen. Second, that you'll be blessed for obeying the prophets. And third, that you will be blessed to be God's hands in his work of salvation here on earth. First, let's talk about why you should be prepared for the unknown. Thomas S. Monson has said, "We live in turbulent times. Often the future is unknown, therefore it behooves us to prepare for uncertainties." He's also said, "Recent surveys of church members have shown a serious erosion in the number of families who have a year's supply of life's necessities. Most members plan to do it, but too few members have started to do it." Prophets and apostles of our day and age, of our parents' day and age, and even prophets and apostles of the Old Testament have told us and warned us that today, these times that we are living in, would be the times where they sift the wheat from the tares. That means that the Lord is sifting through even his own members of the church to see who is willing to follow him, who is willing to do what the Lord asks of them to help move the work forward. Elder Bednar of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles in October 2020 conference said, "Some church members opine that emergency plans, supplies, food storage, and 72-hour kits must not be important anymore because the brethren have not spoken about it recently and extensively about these and related topics in general conference. But repeated admonitions to prepare have been proclaimed by church leaders for decades. The consistency of prophetic counsel over time creates a powerful concert of clarity and a warning volume far louder than a solo performance can ever produce." Many years ago, when I was just a child, I remember my parents' food storage. They had big shelves on both sides, 2 big sliding doors, and a meat deep freezer right there in the middle. I remember having number 10 cans stacked on the bottom and the bottom 2 or 3 shelves, and then having pasta and having spaghetti sauce, and then in the meat freezer we'd have some steaks and some ground turkey and beef and bacon and kind of stuff like that. And I remember that there came a point in time that my parents were actually struggling. And during that time, they just didn't have enough money to make ends meet. And so during that time, we actually ate off of our food storage. We used up some of those number 10 cans. We used the meat in the freezer. We would eat mac and cheese off of the shelf. Whenever my mom would go shopping, she'd only get a few things here or there to just, spruce those meals up. But we ate out of our food storage. We were prepared for the times that were hard. My parents struggled during that time, and we had food storage to meet our needs. Enough to meet our needs. Wasn't perfect, wasn't a lot, but it was just enough. Being prepared temporarily, though, doesn't always bring just temporal blessings. What about those spiritual blessings? Neil H. Leach, author of the Prophetic Statements on Food Storage for Latter-day Saints, said, "Have you ever considered the possibility that the very act of having your food storage on hand actually might be serving as a protective shield, causing the Lord to turn away events and situations which might be harmful to you and your family? We must never lose sight of the fact that Heavenly Father blesses obedience in various ways." Obedience is what qualifies us for the blessings of heaven. By your faithfulness to the Lord and what he asks of you brings you blessings. As some of you probably know, Doctrine and Covenants, section 130, verse 20 and 21 say, "There is a law irrevocably decreed in heaven before the foundations of the world, upon which all blessings are predicated. And when we obtain any blessing from God, It is by obedience to the law upon which it is predicated. By obeying the Lord's chosen leaders, prophets, and apostles, and abiding by their counsel, we will be blessed in more ways than just temporarily, but also spiritually. It will protect us from Satan and his influences. It is a shield that we put on because we are following the Lord's chosen leaders. But again, not only does it bless us, but it also can bless others, and we can be the Lord's hands in his work. Vaughan J. Featherstone shared this interaction that he had with someone once. This person said, "Do I share with my neighbors who have not followed the counsel to store food? And what about non-members who don't have a year's supply? Do we have to share with them as well?" Vaughan J. Featherstone said, "No, we don't have to share. We get to share. Let us not be concerned about the silly thoughts of whether we should or should not share the food which we have stored. Of course we should share. What would Jesus do? I could not possibly eat food and put food into my own mouth, knowing and seeing my neighbors starving. And if you starve to death after sharing your food, greater love hath no man than this." Quoting John 15:13. We are to love God and to love all our neighbors. Those are the two great commandments of God. If we love God with all our heart, might, mind, and strength, and if we love our neighbors, all other commandments become easy, even sharing your food storage. We teach our primary children that everyone is our neighbor, no matter if they're good or bad, whether they're a member or not. Our neighbors is everyone and anyone around us that we can help influence and we can help out. Everyone maybe remembers the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. COVID came, things shut down, truckers stopped driving. Guess what? It might happen again. But when it did happen, many people were worried because they didn't have toilet paper. Unfortunately, there's probably some people that had to use paper towels or something. But thankfully, my wife and I had stored some toilet paper ourselves, and there were family members that came to us and said, "Hey, we're out of toilet paper. Do you have any that you could spare?" And we were able to bring them whole packages, 9 rolls of toilet paper to at least 3 family members. And we still had plenty for ourselves. As soon as toilet paper got back in, we stocked right back up. But because we had that, we were able to be blessings to our family and to our friends and to our neighbors who didn't have what they needed. And I didn't even bat an eye to share what I had, because I got the chance to be the Lord's hands in his work. In conclusion, we must not only for our own temporal benefit of being prepared for the unknown, but also for our own spiritual blessings and for the ability and chance to bless others. We need to prepare now. We need to stock up on food storage and emergency supplies and toiletries and things of the such. Spencer W. Kimball said, "There will come a time when there isn't a store." And Elder Woodruff also said, "The day will come when if we do not lay up our bread, they will be sorry for it." I invite you all to heed the counsel of our prophets, apostles, and friends and family around us, to do anything and everything that you can to prepare for the future. Stock up on food storage. Stock up on toiletries. Stock up on your spiritual health. I invite you to do that because you will be blessed both temporally, spiritually, and be able to bless others.